Model 3 could be at steady 5K production. Panasonic says Gigafactory 1 is spinning up. The Tesla camping mode feature will be official, and more. This is Tesla Tidbits episode number 430 for Earnings Day, August 1st, 2018. So about that warning last show that usually nothing happens the day before earnings, maybe I need to start saying that more often. We've got plenty of stories for the show today, which is awesome going into tomorrow's earnings call. We start with an eagle-eyed Twitter user that is clearly paying attention to @Model 3 VINs on the service. @Alec_UK tweeted out, quote, $TSLA have now registered 23,466 Model 3 VINs since the end of June. That's an average of 5,866 a week, end quote. While VIN registrations are no guarantee of exact production, it certainly is a darn good estimator. It would seem that Tesla has indeed made it to sustain 5K per week Model 3 production, literally the week they started it, which is awfully impressive. It's an easier task to gear up to make it once just to prove it can be done, and then maybe fall back a bit while the finishing touches are put on the production line to get it there for a more consistent output. But no, it would appear that Tesla just kept on trucking after hitting the goal in the last week of June. I suspect we'll hear much more about this during the earnings call tomorrow. Dovetailing with that previous story, it would seem that we have some potentially supporting data. Teslarati reports that Panasonic is getting ready to increase output to support production demands. Releasing a statement to the news agency Nikkan Kogyo, Panasonic said that they will be adding 3 more production lines at Gigafactory 1 before the year is out. The new lines are expected to boost Panasonic's production by 30%. This will hopefully relieve the cell shortage situation that Panasonic reported around the time of the annual shareholders meeting. We turn back to Twitter for the next story, and this is something that has been talked about for some time, but looks like we're finally getting an official feature. Elon was back tweeting about future features on the car again, and we get this, quote, "We're adding a party and camper mode soon to S3X, so your car can maintain airflow, temp, selective lights, music, and power devices for 48 hours or more while parked. Big batteries rock," end quote. There were workarounds that could force the car into this, and even apps that could enable this, but now we're officially getting a camper mode for the cars. So for those of you out there that want to get away into the middle of nowhere, but have a comfy spot to sleep when you do it, you'll soon be able to fold down your back seats and sack out in total comfort. In the continuing story of the alleged sabotage at the Fremont plant, Electrek reports that Martin Tripp has countersued Tesla for $1 million, alleging, quote, defamation, invasion of privacy, and intentional infliction of emotional distress, end quote. This comes after the former worker was accused in June by Tesla of leaking data, misrepresenting said data to the media, and modifying Tesla systems to continue to exfiltrate that data after he was no longer with the company. There's really nothing new to this story other than that Tripp is now countersuing Tesla for the $1 million, and that he now does have counsel to defend himself against Tesla's suit. This one's far from over, and I'll keep you posted. Lastly, Electrek brings us some information on protecting your Tesla, or really any car that has a similar system, from theft. The hands-free system that allows you to just walk up to the car and have it unlock, and vice versa, is known to have a vulnerability that permits a would-be attacker to impersonate your key fob while you're away from the car. Tesla sent email to owners in areas that have recently had several Teslas stolen and never recovered to warn them and give them measures to prevent theft. There are 2 easy ways to do so. Firstly, and free, is to simply disable the passive entry feature on the car. You can do this by going to Controls, Settings, Doors and Locks, and setting passive entry to off. Note that if you're going to run out to your car and do this right now, the car must be actually on when you do this. In other words, ready to drive if you move the drive selector. Otherwise, the option will be grayed out, and you'll be wondering why. The other option, which will cost you a bit of coin, is to get a radio blocking pouch. This prevents the would-be ne'er-do-wells from being able to capture the fob signal to begin with in order to replay it. Of course, this means you'll have to remove the fob from its pouch in order to enter the car or drive. So there's your public service announcement. You can decide which method is right for you, or you can feel free to also cheerfully ignore this information as well. You can check out the links to the full stories in the show description. While you're doing that, please consider supporting the show financially through Patreon at patreon.com/Tesla Tidbits. Thanks very much to the super patrons out there supporting the show at the $10 plus level. They are John Waltauer, Drew Schuyler, John Waller, Mark and Sarah Thomas, Ryan Scarborough, Lee Sweet, William Henry Crew III, Dory and Steve Guberman, Bruno Condici, Joey Boots, Ralph and Cheryl Waterhouse, Adam Raymer Brown, Megawatt Photovoltaic Development, Todd Sullivan, Robert Healy, Mitch Long, Zortec LED Canada, Morven Ogg, Blake Thompson, Raymond and Deborah Malkowitz, T Sportline, and Michael Pastroni. If you can't support with dollars, feel free to leave a positive review for the show instead. If you have feedback for me, as always, the best way to be heard is to tweet at Tesla Tidbits and use the hashtag AskTeslaTidbits if you'd like your question to be considered for the show. I'll see you all back here again tomorrow with all the info from Tesla's Q2 earnings call. We'll see if we get the same fireworks as last time or not. Until then, keep it charged and hit the road.